Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Witchazel. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's an odds and ends episode because there was so much to cover. Witchazel is just, it's a lot. And there's just some things we wanted to go over, so we're just doing a little mini episode. We have Courtney.
Hello.
And Jessie.
Hi.
We always want to acknowledge any comments, ideas, kind of wild theories that we receive from our listeners. And we got a really great one from Abby on Instagram. She wrote, and I'm going to quote here, "I just listened to the new episode on Witchazel and I wanted to throw something out there. You guys were confused about look in my book and what it meant. I believe he's alluding to the old folktale of looking in the devil's book and signing the devil's book. Back in Puritan times, that was a phrase they used to mean if they made a pact with the devil if you signed the devil's book. If that was the case, the line, 'Would you give me money for this?' would be selling your soul. So to me, the song always hinted that it wasn't just a plain old ghost, but possibly the devil, which also goes nicely with the general album theme of folk horror." And then they commented a little later, they re-listened to the song and feel that the song has 2 points of view, the man and the ghost. He only slightly differentiates them. The first part is slower with the man, and it picks up and is jauntier when the devil comes in asking if he wants to sign his book.
"There's ghosts in my house, so I had to move out. I live in my barn, and I don't give a damn for the cows and the sheep as they strain to excrete. Would you like to look in my eyes? Would you like to look in my book? Could you give me money for this?"
That is definitely something that hadn't occurred to any of us. I don't think any of us really had that background in Puritan folk tales.
Really?
But
you don't have a background in Puritan folktales? Like, I totally knew all that.
I think I fell asleep during that part in history class.
Just kidding. No, I thought that was such a good observation, and it's completely plausible. I don't know if that's what it is or not, but it's really plausible, and if that is what it is, that's really awesome, actually.
And definitely seems like the sort of thing that Matt would likely know about, kind of be into. It's very much in line with his interests.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was fantastic feedback. Thank you, Abby, for that. It was definitely gave us something to think about. The other thing that we didn't have a chance to discuss on the last video are the 2 music videos from Witchazel, there's a music video for So Low and there's one for Take My Hand. The So Low video is from, I can't even say it's a spoof of the Old Grey Whistle Test. And I just want to say the Old Grey Whistle Test is not something that we have in the United States. I didn't know anything about this show, so I had to do some research, and because it was referenced in 2 episodes of Snuffbox too, so I think I kind of looked it up a little bit at that time also, but the Old Grey Whistle Test was a show on the BBC that ran from 1971 to 1988, and they kind of just featured non-chart topping music, which I think is interesting. It was kind of like albums as a whole. There was a host on Old Grey Whistle Test called Whispering Bob Harris. And I think that if you look back at the 2 Snuffbox episodes, I'm pretty sure that's who Richard Ayoade was meant to be, because he was very soft-spoken and, you know, the asthma kind of whispery voice that sort of gives you chills, but it's also really comforting to listen to. So I think that's what it was. So this, when the video opens, it says the Old Grey Whistle Test 1973, which I also thought was kind of odd because Matt date stamps everything with 1974 because that's the year he was born. And this one was 1973 for some reason. But it's really a very cool video. It really perfectly captures the kind of the grittiness of the 70s. Like, everybody just kind of looks strung out. There's a bunch of people in the video. Obviously Matt's in it, and Cecilia Phage. Thomas Walsh is in it from Pugwash. Also from Pugwash, and later the Divine Comedy, and the Duckworth Lewis Method is Tosh Flood. And then Benedict Wong is in it too.
Forgot to mention John Sim, the Master on Doctor Who.
Thank you. Totally forgot about that.
As some of you may know, Matt and Benedict Wong go way back. Matt's mentioned that they've been friends for decades and have been in quite a few projects together. A lot of you probably remember the episode of The IT Crowd that Benedict Wong made a memorable appearance in. He's been on What We Do in the Shadows, and they were on Moon together. They both played the representatives from the evil corporation in Moon. The director of Moon, Duncan Jones, was asked about how he ended up casting Matt and mentioned Matt Berry and Benedict Wong next to him. The two of them, they were buddies of mine. Back in London, where we were making the film, it's quite a small, tight community in film, and there was this notorious drinking spot, he mentioned in another interview, this was called the Phoenix Bar, where we all used to hang out. I asked if they would come and do the cameo, and they were way more established than I was, and it would be really fun to have a cameo of these two guys that I knew. That's kind of what it was back then. So this is kind of just him spotlighting his drinking buddy, who is still a good friend of his.
So Duncan Jones liked one of my tweets back when he directed the Warcraft movie, because I play World of Warcraft, and I said something about it. People were like shitting on the movie, and I was like, I said something like basically like, this movie is awesome and you guys all suck, and he like liked my tweet, and I was like
I just realized that's why Matt was at the Warcraft movie premiere, because I always thought that was so, like, he doesn't go to any movie premieres, and there's all these pictures of him in his like sexy plaid shirt at that premiere that I did not realize Duncan Jones directed that. That
I did not know that either.
Totally connects that for me.
Makes sense. Thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. Benedict Wong has a bloody nose through the entire thing, which is super puzzling. The only thing that we can come up with is that because this is kind of like a 70s thing, an early 70s thing, thinking it was just like a drug reference, maybe like some coke, and he had a bloody nose. I don't know. Yeah. I think it's really cool, though. The camera just pans all over the place. You know, obviously Matt's singing the lead, but you don't see him singing at all.
No.
You see...
He's barely in the video.
He's barely in it.
Like, you see him at the very beginning and the very end, and he's kind of in the background of some shots, but the camera doesn't linger on him at all, which is really interesting.
Yeah, you see some close-ups of him playing guitar, which are really cool, because you don't really get to see him doing a lot of intricate riffs very often, so I think it's cool that it focuses on that. But, I think it's a really cool video. I think they did a really good job making it feel authentic to that time period. I think it's cool. Oh, and then at the end of the video, best part is that Matt just gets up and walks out.
He kind of stumbles out, like he almost bumps into something, I think, on his way out.
And then everybody's just kind of sitting there like, I don't know what he was meant to be doing, but I just think it's funny. He just gets up and walks out.
You've already heard us mention that we love listener theories, speculation. I would love to hear people's theories on what exactly is going on in this video, because it is hard to puzzle out. It's best I can figure out is like a portrait of band tension. Everyone seems really uncomfortable. Everyone's sort of fidgeting and not making eye contact and just very much looking like they don't want to be there. And that seems to be the plot of the video. It's just this band that's like barely tolerating each other.
But I think they're like supposed to be on drugs though, aren't they? Aren't they supposed to be like super strung out?
Are they?
I don't.
Maybe.
That would make sense.
They all look a little gritty. They all look a little disheveled and unkempt, like as per the early 70s. Everybody looked that way then. I mean, I think Cecilia's not wearing any shoes. There's somebody else that's barefoot too. I don't know.
Is Matt barefoot? It cuts from him playing guitar to someone tapping their feet, so
I don't know.
That might be a rare cameo for Matt's feet.
I can't tell. I could not tell whose foot it was, but there's definitely two barefoot people there. I don't know. I'd like to know who the drummer is too. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, that was the one person we couldn't place.
We need to know. Come on, Matt. We need to like make a list of all these like, you know, crazy questions we have. Like, who's the drummer?
Burning questions?
What was this
like
song?
a burning question? A burning question?
Like our regular feature that we're going to be featuring at the end of this episode?
Yeah. But like we need to make like a fake like episode where we just like put all of our burning questions in one episode and be like, okay, Matt, come on and answer them. We have good questions. They're interesting questions.
I kind of assume that he's making a list when he obviously listens to this podcast. He's like taking notes. So what do they want to know today? I don't know. Okay.
Well, I'll be honest,
second Monday.
I suspect he barely remembers the filming of this video.
Yeah.
I bet if we asked him about it, he would just say that
I have no recollection.
Has no recollection. Yeah.
He's like, why did the guy have like a bleeding nose? Is that like cocaine? And he's like, what? Like there was a bleeding nose? I don't know what you're talking about. Hope Ben's okay. Yeah.
I think I watched that video like 4 times when I first stumbled on Mac Music before I realized that was Benedict Wong, because it was just, he was so out of place. I didn't want to put him in a music video with Matt Berry. I was like, oh, that's Benedict Wong. I didn't even realize.
They all look so young in this video.
They
like,
do.
Every
They
person.
do. It's really cute. Actually, Cecilia looks exactly the same now, I have to say. I don't think she's
she looks
changed at all.
good.
She does.
She's aged well.
I'm very much like her.
Yeah.
So the other video is Take My Hand.
We all kind of have, you guys, again, have your very good theory about it, and I'm just like, derp. Like, I'm just kind of out here because you guys made like a really good point that you think that it was like a short film that was made.
So, okay, so it opens with an old man. He's at the doctor. I think that he's realizing that he doesn't have a lot of time left, and he builds a life-size robot, and he does it, I think, essentially to teach him to be human and to keep him company in his final days, so he's not alone. And then they, you see them doing various human type things, and he teaches the robot to do various things with varying degrees of success. And then at the end, they're in a field of flowers, and the old man lays down and dies.
Croaks.
And then the robot kind of just turns around and walks away into the sunset. But there's actual credits that run at the end of it, and I don't know if this was, I kind of suspect that it wasn't meant to be a music video for Take My Hand, like an official music video. I think it may have been a short film that somebody did, and then it kind of became the music video for Take My Hand. I don't know, but you don't usually see credits like that in a music video, so.
Definitely not. And I was also kind of struck rewatching it that it's a pretty elaborate production. Like, it looks like the budget on this might have been fairly high. There's a lot of location shoots in London. There's, like, kind of this full robot costume that the guy wears. Acid Jazz was not working with a huge budget on these videos. Like, so low is literally people sitting in a room. So I suspect, Jesse, that you're right, that this might have been a more elaborate production that kind of got repurposed as the video.
And do we think that Acid Jazz actually had anything to do with the videos? Like, I don't know when the video was made for Solo. I don't know if it was made prior to Acid Jazz or if it was made just because Matt wanted to make a music video with his friends. Although he wasn't friends with Thomas Walsh until he was filming the IT Crowd, I think. But that's also when he made the album. So I don't know. I don't
know. I know it was released after Witchazel came out on Acid Jazz, but it's not to say he didn't have it kicking around, just waiting to be released at the right moment.
Yeah, I guess it would be kind of weird to make a music video if you didn't actually have a distribution for your album other than it being self-released. So it would make sense that it was released after the fact, and maybe Acid Jazz funded it, but I don't know. It doesn't have any credits for it at all. So do you think it's on the Acid Jazz website, the YouTube channel now?
I think it is, yeah.
Maybe they
I've always loved this video. I really like it. It's just, it never occurred to me until you guys said it that it was a short film that was kind of repurposed as a music video, because I just thought it was, and again, I find it very intricate. Like, the robot costume's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
it's well made.
The eyes are super creepy.
I like it though. Like, I like it, and I always because like at the beginning it says Charlie on the robot, and I was like, that's Matt's dad's name, Charles, as well as his middle name. So it never occurred to me that it could have been a short film that was made for it. I just thought it was kind of something Matt did to kind of maybe parlay into something like that with like a little short film, like a little like artsy type film. And I thought it was really well done, and I always kind of saw it as sad because I took it as this old man who, again, at the beginning, he's finding out, oh shit, you're gonna die, and he loves robots, clearly, because you see a shot of a whole bunch of little robot figurines on his shelf, and you know what, I'm gonna make a robot. I'm dying, I'm gonna make a robot, and I'm gonna teach him how to be human, because he, in my mind, he never had kids, he just wanted to make his robot, and then he teaches him how to do all this stuff. And I really like the scene where he's like giving the robot the beer, and then the robot like is puking, and it's just kind of a very like, I found it's gross, but it's kind of sweet.
The whole thing is sweet. I think it is the part where he's trying to teach the robot to play chess, and like he got frustrated. The robot got frustrated and like smashed the chessboard. I think it is very sweet. I I was very surprised when I saw it the first time, thinking that it was an official music video for this song, and it might be, I really don't know. And then I was like, well, this is not at all how I interpreted the song. You know, obviously, I think the most common interpretation would be guy meets girl, brings her to a pub.
Yeah.
But this, I think, was a very sweet interpretation of it, and I really like it too.
It turns the interpretation of the song on its head, and I really like that. And I always thought it was kind of very Matt, you know? Oh, you thought it was about this? Guess what? Here's a friggin' guy with his robot.
Yeah. And I don't know. I have no idea if he had any input in the video at all, but I would very much like to know. I think it'd be very interesting. I'm sure somebody out there has a clue and can tell us.
Yeah.
Hit us up on social media at Obsessed Oscure on everything. And we would love to know, because I tried to research it. I couldn't find anything. And I think, Courtney, you're like master of research, and you couldn't find anything either, right?
Nope, nothing on IMDb, nothing about the actors.
Mystery. A mystery.
Actually, I didn't, because I didn't look that closely for the actors, so I'm going to be embarrassed if someoe's like, there's a whole website.
She lied!
Here's all this, yeah.
Totally overinflated her researching.
Master of research, my ass.
Oh my gosh, that's
You're
funny.
like, yes, I did. No, I didn't.
Just kidding. I didn't. I really didn't.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. There is a Witchazel 1.5 minute long promo video that we didn't discuss, and actually it was Joan Stevenson from the Matt Berry Appreciation Society that reminded us about it, and it is a very cute homemade promo video.
By Cecilia Phage.
She made it?
She directed it, yeah.
Oh, she did?
Mm-hmm.
Very well done. It's very cute. I really love it. It's just Matt and Cecilia in his flat in this very small room playing various instruments, and the badger makes an appearance, and it's really cute. And Matt's just doing voiceover that says Witchazel coming soon, like throughout the whole thing, and they show little pictures of, there's some tarot cards and some other stuff that matches the theme of Witchazel, but we'll post all the links.
I actually found it hilarious that it's flashing like all these kind of like pastoral looking painting of, I think, some peasants, and you see the tarot card, and then you see this like smiling scarecrow. It's the least intimidating looking, least spooky looking thing. It just looks like it's from some school's Halloween carnival.
That's so true. There is one at the end though that was really scary looking.
There was a more ominous scarecrow at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like a guy in bondage almost. So I was like, ugh. Yeah.
I didn't like that one.
No, I didn't like it either.
Yeah, my guess is that someone just kind of went to Google image search and searched scarecrow and copied and pasted the first thing that came up. But something you also see in this video, one of the other images you see inserted, is the famous badger, who factors pretty heavily in Matt's work.
The badger.
The badger. And for those of you who are lucky enough to follow Matt in the days that he was tweeting all the time, he would tweet pictures of the badger quite a bit. There's some old photos of the badger wearing a flower crown, wearing a lei. Like, this badger had some good times. Mm-hmm. And he was actually interviewed by the Telegraph newspaper in June 2013, and kind of talked in this interview about different objects which he values. And he said about the badger, I'm going to read here, "I'm not really into taxidermy, but I like this badger, and he's featured in lots of things I've done, such as the artwork for the last album, Witchazel. I even give him a producer's credit. I don't give him a name because that would be taking the piss out of him, and he's over 100 years old. So he's called A Badger. He was given to me by my uncle, who I think won him somehow. He's moved from home to home with me. He definitely likes my current place because he likes being next to the river. He's very smart."
I love that he's kind of got a backstory. That's fantastic.
And a whole personality.
Yeah. I love that. I do the same thing with my dog. My dog has a whole backstory.
I really love the badger with the headphones.
I do too. I think it's so cute. It's really great.
Yeah, something we didn't mention when we talked about the Witchazel cover in the last album is that wasn't the original cover. The original cover was A Badger, as the badger is officially named, wearing those headphones.
Yep, which if you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, you would see, because I posted a picture of it recently.
Also, there's a super cute picture of Matt smiling with the badger.
With the pheasant.
Oh, it's the pheasant! Oh, screw me.
Oh, in the video, in the promo video. Yeah.
Yeah, in the promo video. And I actually had to look it up. I have my Gather Up book with me here because I was like, we thought that it was from the book, but it's not. There's a very similar photo, but it's not. He's not smiling in it, and the smile is good. We like the smile.
Is it the only time we've seen that picture then? I wonder if it is. I don't know.
I can't place it anywhere else.
You know who could tell us the answer to that question? Ben Meadows. He could answer that question for us. Ben.
Come on, Ben.
If you're listening, let us know.
We need you.
So, we started it the last episode when we did opium. A burning question for Matt this time, which actually just came to light very recently. He did a radio show on Totally Wired Radio, which is the sister radio station, I guess sister station of Acid Jazz. Mm-hmm. He did his first show, S is for Synthesizer, with Eddie Pillar a couple of weeks ago. And just apropos of nothing, they were talking, and, you know, Eddie Pillar was kind of praising Matt for what he can do with musical instruments and stuff like that, and how he can play everything. And Matt said, well, that's all I can do. You know, I can't drive, and, you know, that's really all and then Eddie Pillar chimes in with, oh, but you do have a horse and buggy license. And that was the end of it. There was
Matt says, yeah, I do. And then they move on.
He said, oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, there was no further explanation of this. I now need to know more. Like, why can you not drive a car? How do you not drive a car? I mean, I guess things are a little different in the UK, especially if you spend time in the city. But I know he lives in the country. I don't understand how you get away with not having a car. But maybe that's just my American sensibilities, because if you don't have a car, you're kind of lost. But you can't drive a car, but you have a horse and buggy license. So I want to know who, what, where, when, and how on that. Please, we're dying for some more information. Thank you.
It's hilarious that they just said that and then moved the fuck on. They were like, oh, let's drop this hilarious, very interesting thing.
It was like it wasn't
synthesizers.
It was like it wasn't interesting. It was just said matter of factly. Oh, but you do have a horse and buggy license. Oh yeah, I do. Can't just drop that
Rewinds.
there.
Rewinds.
Well, thanks for sitting in with us again and listening to our Odds and Ends episode of Witchazel. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Obsessed Obscure. Are we on TikTok?
We are on TikTok.
We are on TikTok.
Although our content is low.
Yeah. We're there, but, like, we're not really there.
No, we're there. I mean? We're totally there.
Okay.
We're hip, guys. We're cool. We're on TikTok.
We're with all the cool young kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so next episode is going to be very exciting, I think. It's going to be Kill the Wolf. And I think it's going to be just a tiny bit contentious because I don't necessarily love it as much as everybody else does. So it'll be a nice little,
You don't say.
I think it will be.
For three people that always agree on everything. Can't imagine it being contentious.
We agreed on one thing once.
I know.
That was about it.
It was monumental.
I've got 2 weeks until I can change your mind about how this is one of the best albums ever written. I'm building my case.
I think I'm just Switzerland from here on out. I don't know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I don't dislike anything from here on out, so yeah.
Okay.
So let's do it.
I have some dislikes. I'm just gonna keep that under my hat, but I do have some dislikes.
As do I.
Well, I probably do too. We'll just have
Tune
to
in to find out.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you for listening.
Bye, y'all.